So any doubts before we start?
Um, I had one doubt, but I think it's a very small one. It's just that in the regular temporary field, I'm not able to get the list of all the values like contract or all those. That's the only thing. I think we can do it later.
What was that about? I didn't get you actually.
Uh, you know, for the rule creation, there's a regular and temporary field that we were modifying.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, we're selecting a contract. We did four rules, but there's a one that says contract.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not populating all the values for me. Only I'm getting regular and temporary. That is the only thing.
Okay. In the business rule, it is populating only two values.
Yeah, just two values.
Okay. Okay then. Yeah. Let's look at today's topic. Then we'll come back to it.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Today we are going to look at the custom portlet. Okay. Now we know how to create a custom field in any of the portlets of people profile. Right. But if we have to create a custom portlet, okay, not a custom field. Custom fields can be created using managed business configuration in any of the portlets like personal, job, or comp, anywhere. And you need to grant the permissions. But if we have to create a custom portlet, okay, and this portlet can be created using configure object definition. It is created using configure object definition. So let me do one thing. Let me close my Excel and reopen. Okay. Using configure object definition. So this object, what we are going to create in configure object definition, this is called live profile MDF object. It's called live profile MDF object. So what do we use the configure object definition for? Configure object definition is used to define the generic or the MDF object. So we also create a custom portlet in the same place, configure object definition, and we call those we call that object as live profile MDF object. The difference between live profile MDF object and the MDF or the generic object is MDF generic objects are only maintained in managed data. You cannot use them as people profile portlets. Whereas the live profile MDF object that we are going to create, that can be used as a people profile object. And we can also maintain the data using managed data. Okay. Now the process remains same for both MDF generic object or the live profile MDF object. What only thing is, now this shows up in the people profile and those objects doesn't show up in the people profile. Okay. Now there could be various scenarios why customer want to have a custom portlet. Okay. Now success factors doesn't provide all of the portlets. Okay. But it allows us to create our own custom portlets. So Some of the common examples are earlier we have created vaccination portlet. Okay. It could be for the transportation details. It could be the asset details, assets issued to the employees, or it could be the medical records of the employee. So all of these can be configured as a custom portlets. Okay. And these are called live profile MDF objects. Can somebody give me an example that you want to see? Any portlet that you want to see. Any information that is to be tracked for employees.
Can we have extended benefits?
Extended benefits. Okay. Tell me what fields you want to have in extended benefits.
Um,
I need
I
at
mean,
least 10 fields.
10 fields.
Go ahead.
I mean, the item
Okay.
amount.
Benefit item. Okay. So this you want to have a pick list, right?
Okay.
What
Yeah.
values you want to have in it?
Like computer or some list of all the computers or laptops or anything electronic devices.
Okay. So these are the fields I want.
Those
These are
have to
the
be
values that I
populated
want.
in the
And
pick list.
yes, those are to be
Okay.
populated. Now these are the values that I will be showing in a pick list.
The
Okay.
pick list. Okay.
Amount.
Amount.
Amount is a decimal field. Okay. Where it allows you to input the amount, only the amount. Okay. Next.
Receipt.
Issue date.
Yeah.
This is a date field. Receipt.
Yeah.
Receipt I will have it as attachment.
Oh yeah. It's an
Okay.
attachment.
User has to upload the attachment. So this is a attachment field. Is an
And
attachment field.
yeah,
Issued
description of the item.
description of the item is called a text field. Okay, this is a text field or a string. Okay, is it returnable? Okay, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no, this is called a Boolean.
Boolean,
Type of
yeah.
the field is
Yeah.
Boolean. Okay, and issued by user or an employee.
Approval also.
Yes.
Approve.
If you want to have an approval, that is
Yeah.
a workflow we need to attach. Okay, so the approval can be added.
Yeah. And
Issued by department. So I'll have it as a MDF object or a foundation object. What else? 2 or 3 more?
yeah,
Manage.
client, I mean,
Comments.
yeah, client, is it client provided or provided by? Who's going to pay for it? So usually client or company.
Returnable, yes or no? I said returnable, yes. If it is
Yes.
returnable, yes, then it is to be the company only, right?
What is the, I mean, the amount allocated, like the total amount?
We have the amount field here, right?
Oh, okay. Balance.
Okay. Balance. This is also amount.
Yeah, date ending. I mean, it is a period of 1 year, right? So from to date, when this
Validity.
yeah.
Okay. This I'll use date and time. So here we are using date, so we'll use date and time here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's add more fields if you want to. when
Yeah.
we create the object. So
Okay.
we'll
Okay.
start with these fields.
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll have to go to configure object definition. Configure object definition and then create a new object here. Create new object definition. Okay. So all of the objects that we create, those are custom objects. I'll name it benefits, custom benefits. Okay. Second field that we have here is effective dating. Now, do you want to have this as an effective dated portlet or non-effective dated portlet? You should be choosing the options here. You have from parent, none, basic, multiple changes per day. Will come from bottom. Multiple changes per day means on the same day, if you want to have multiple records. Okay, let's say I have with effective 1/1/2024, I have 3 records. It should show as one of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. I have 4 records and it will show 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. Okay, so that means system should allow multiple records with the same date. So we choose multiple changes per day. Basic is normal effective date. None is it is not an effective date. From parent means you'll have one record as the parent record. On top of it, you can create any other records. But before that parent record, you should not be able to create any records. Like job information, hire record is the first record. You cannot have any other records before hire. Can have after hiring, but not before hiring. So that is from parent. I'll choose basic, regular effective date. When you choose effective dating as basic, it adds one additional fields. But every custom field will have, every custom object will have these two fields by default, external code and external name. Because we have chosen this object as a basic effective dated, so it has added one effective start date additional field. API visibility, if you want to transfer the data from SuccessFactors to other instances, other applications, now this should be set as enable, editable or read only. If you don't want to move any data, you can set it as not only, not visible. Okay. But if you want, you can have it as an editable field. Status is active. MDF version history, do you want to keep the version history in managed data? If you want to keep the version history, system will track all the changes that we do. Like any data that we edit, modify, delete, system will keep a track of it. Okay, if you want to keep it. Complete history. If I say complete history, it will track all the changes. If you don't want to have any history, it will have only one record. The backend, it won't store any data. Okay. So you can use either no or delete history if you don't want, but if you want complete history, you can add. You have switched on auditing. Now onwards, all record changes will be logged. That's fine. And every custom portlet that we create should have a default screen. You should tell the system how to display these fields. Now, these fields you want to have it right aligned or left aligned or no center aligned, or you want to have it in a form view or a table view, horizontally, vertically. So you can do all of those in the screen. Okay, you can design the screen and add the screen here. Okay, once we create this object, we'll go and design that screen. Okay, default screen, I will leave it as it is now. Benefits, will have it as RIL benefits. Okay, the screen name, I'll keep it as RIL benefits. Description, you can add if you want, otherwise you can leave it. API subversion, leave it as 1.1. Subject user field is very important. Now, if you want to use the object for people profile, now this screen is used to create generic objects. Are used to configure, it is used to configure the generic and the MDF objects. But this object, what you are creating, you want to use it for the people profile. So when you are using the people profile, this field is very important. Now, this field will be auto updated with the first field what we have here, external code. If you set the external codes data type as user, I'll explain you each of those data types. If you set this data type as user, when you save this object, system will automatically add the ID of this field to subject user field. Now, when you have subject user field as external code and the data type of the external code is set as user, that means this portlet is set to use for people profile. Okay, this will define, this field will define whether you want to use it for a people profile or you want to use it as a generic object. Workflow routing, if you want workflow to be added to your object, you can add your workflow here. So here, go search for your workflows. You can add workflows. Okay, for now, I'll not add any workflow. If you want, once we create the object, we'll come and add the workflow. Pending data, when the workflow is triggered, if you want to show it as a pending data, you can set it as yes. And all the custom objects, they are categorized as generic objects only. And the object can be categorized, or you can choose the category, like whether it is user transactional data, non-user transactional data. For an object which we have created for as a generic or MDF object, that can be non-user transactional. Okay, user transactional, or is it a configuration related? You can choose the category. You can also leave it as it is, or if you want, you can have it as a user transactional data. By default, system has added these three fields. I will leave these three fields as it is and add all of the fields that I want to have. Okay. Now this is a pick list field which we want to have, but we have not created any pick list. So first let's go and create a pick list and then come back to this screen. I will duplicate. Go here. Pick list center. Go to pick list center. Okay. Let me search if we have any benefits. Okay. That's fine. We'll have our own pick list. Okay. Benefits. Starting from, I want to have start date from 1/1/2024. Okay. And I want to display them in the alphabetical order. I don't have any like parent pick list. Fine. What values you want to have? Now this is a pick list what we have created, and what values you want to have in this pick list. So I'll say laptop active. Okay. And then add another C computer active. Okay, you can keep on adding any number of items. Others active. E electronic goods active. Okay, I've added 4 values. And this is the code that I want to use. So just copy it. Okay, so the first field, what we want to have is benefit item. Okay, so I'll call it as item. This is the ID of the field. ID of the field, you see, it always starts with custom underscore. This is a custom field. These are standard fields. So custom fields again starts with custom underscore. It should not contain any space. How many characters you want to have? You can set the maximum length. This is a pick list, so I don't want to have anything. Data type. This is important. You have different data types for each field. You can have it as an attachment. You can have it as an autocomplete so that system completes the data. Auto number, if you want system to generate a number. Boolean, which will set as yes or no. The field values would be yes or no. CLOB is character length object. It allows you to input more than 4,000 characters. If you want to have a big text box which allows you to input more than 4,000 characters, you can use character length object file. Data source, if you want to bring the data from a particular source and you want to add that, you can use data source. Date is a calendar field. Date and time is calendar and clock. Decimal field for amounts. Enum, again, if it is a system driven field, system given field, and you want to refer that field, it is enum. Foundation object, if you want to refer object from corporate data model, you can use foundation object. Generic object, same thing again, if you want to choose the object like company, business unit, or a position, you can use generic object. Number field, pick list, drop down. String is a text, time is just a clock, and then translatable field. Translatable is if you want to maintain the field label in different languages, it is translatable field. User is if you want to add a user, like from the existing system, if you want to choose an user, a HR manager or some user, can choose user field. Now item, you want to have it as a pick list. Go choose a pick list, go to details. Now, when you choose a pick list or a generic object or a foundation object or a data source or a enum, you need to give the valid value source. You need to add valid value source. Valid value source here, because we have chosen pick list, what pick list you want to choose. Now, this is the ID of the pick list. Okay. Similarly, if you have chosen foundation object, you need to give ID of the foundation object, not the label of the object. It is the ID of the object. Hide old values. If you are inserting a record and changing some data, what system is doing? System is showing the old value as a strike and off. Okay. Sometimes system doesn't show the field values, the old values, it doesn't show. It shows only the new value. So hide old value. If you want to show hide old value, you can hide it. Or if you don't want to hide, you want to show it as strike and off, you can use it as no. If you are using this field as a decimal field, how many decimal fields you want to have? You can choose decimal precision. Include inactive users. If this is a user field and if you want to show the terminated employees also, you can choose and include inactive users. UI field render. This is particularly used for pick list. In pick list, generally system will show both ID and value. And if you don't want to show ID, you want to show only value, you can add the UI field render. Okay, we'll see first how does the pick list shows up, and then we'll come back and maintain this. Transient field is the field which maintains the data in the front end but doesn't store the value in the back end. So those are transient fields. Help text, what is to be done with this field? If you want to give some help to the user, you can say help text. You can add help text here. Choose the value from the drop down. Okay. Mask the value. If you don't want to show up the value on load, if you want to mask it, you can mask. Show trailing zeros, again for numbers. If you want to have zeros to be displayed, you can add. Default value, the pick list, again, if you want to, by default, you want to add one value as a pick list default value, you can add one value. Hide seconds, this is for time. Required, yes or no, is it mandatory or not? Visibility is editable, status is active, and what is the field label, benefit type. Okay. Cascade, you can choose if you want to save. Cascade means now if you are using parent and the child pick list, now you want to cascade the data from one field to other field, you can use cascade. End of period we don't use, say done. Okay, so that's the first field. Second is amount field. Amount, I want to allow only 4 digits. Okay. 7 digits, let's say 7 digits. Okay, with decimals, I want to use 7 digits. So let's see. Amount is a decimal field. Okay. I'll just add the label as amount. Next. Issue date. This is a date field. Label it as issue date. Okay. And then attachment or a receipt. It is an attachment. I'm trying to use different fields. Okay, description of the item. This one, I'll use it as a translatable field. Okay, description can be maintained. And this one, I want to allow maximum of 50. Okay, returnable. This is a Boolean, yes or no. And then issued by is a user field who has issued. The user field. Issued department. So it should not contain any space. So I'll just delete that space. It is the generic object. Details. Whenever you are giving generic object, you should have the ID of the object. Issued department. Okay. This is done. Comments. This is, I'll put it as CLOB, which allows you more than 4,000 characters. Balance. This is, I'll add it as a number. We have used. Okay. Any other fields that you want to have? Validity. I'll choose date and time here. Any other field that you want to have? Okay. So now once you're done with all of the fields, okay, you can, now you see here, subject user field is blank. I'll go save it. It says this object is a role-based permission secured object. And to access this object, you need to grant the necessary RBP. Okay. So that's fine. Okay. Click on OK. And then now if you see, the subject user field is updated to external code. Okay. And this is a secured object. You need to grant permissions to use this object. So where is it secured? You scroll down here at the end, you have security. Secured is set to yes. That's why you need to grant permissions. And where will I see the permissions? Permission category is given miscellaneous permissions. By default, all the generic objects or all the custom objects that we create, these, if they are secured, usually they would be in miscellaneous permission. But again, you can also change if you don't want to show up in miscellaneous, if you want to show in a different place. So let's note it down here. First, create object, which we have done in configure object definition. And if it is a secured object, then grant permissions to this object. And this is done in manage permission roles. Okay, so I'll go here, manage permission role. Under manage permission role, it should be under, go to edit. Next. should be under miscellaneous permission. Under miscellaneous permissions, okay, you should have something called benefits. Is it left? You have RIL benefits. I want to view history, create, insert, correct, and delete. Import also. I want to have all of them. I save. Save this. So this is fine. Second step, granting the permissions. Third step is to design UI. You'll have to design UI. Manage configuration UI. System was asking the screen, right? So that screen will be designing in manage configuration UI. How do you want the fields of the object to show up in the front end? So we don't have any UI. We have to create. What is a base object? The object what we have created, RAL benefits. Okay, so this is the object. So I'll give the ID also, RAL benefits only. Now these are the fields what we have created. This is how it is going to show up. This is how it is going to show up. Now you can, here you can have the fields aligned. Okay, let's say I want to have these two side by side, one after the other. Okay, and then you want to have amount here, you can do that. You can do all of that. Okay. Now, this is showing up vertically, all the fields one after the other. Okay, and center aligned to the screen. They are center. If you want to show if you want to change the alignment, you can go to edit properties here. When you mouse over, you see here edit properties. You go click on edit properties. Okay. Layout, it is showing as form. Let's see first layouts. This is form. What you see, this is form. If I say flow and okay, this is flow. All of them are changed to now side by side, one field after the other. Okay. And it is adjusted into 3 lines because of the number of fields that we have, it is adjusted in 3 lines. If you have less, it will show up in either 1 line or 2 lines. Or if you have more, it will show the 4th line or the 5th line. This is the layout flow. And grid is similar to flow, but it adjusts all of the fields in one single row. This is in one single row. You need to scroll to the right or left. Now, I don't want to scroll to the right or left. I want to show only some fields and only I want to show all the other fields. No, I want to hide all the other fields. You can also do that. Visible user fields, say 4, visible fields count 4. It shows up only 4 fields, and when you click on details, it shows up all the other fields. That is visible user fields. I'll say 10 fields, form view. Okay. If there are any additional fields, click on show more, they show up. Okay. So I'll just put 12 fields. Let me show all of them. Alignment center, you can also align right or left. Okay, if it is left aligned, so all of these fields will be aligned to left. Center looks good, so I'll just add them to center. If you want to have border, you can also add border. Collapsible, yes or no. If you say collapsible, yes. Okay. Now these fields can be collapsed. Expand or collapse. Show more. You have more fields here. Up to 20, I'll say yes. Okay. I'll show you this collapse once. Okay. Now, if I want to have these fields into 2 different sections, like on the position, we see a different sections. Okay. Org information, you have company, business unit, division, department separately. And then we have position matrix relationship separate section. So like that, if you want to show fields in different section, you can create a section here. Go add a group. You go click on add a group. And when you say add group, a new group got added here. You see when you mouse over, it shows up this border. Okay, I want to add all of these receipt. Okay, issued date and issued by. Issued date. Issued by. Comments. By default, when you add a group, it adds one custom field input. If you don't want to use, you can remove that. Issued date, issued by, and then comments. Okay. Issued department. Also, I'll add it here. Okay, I'll add these fields. Some of the fields are here, and some of the fields are in a different section. So this section, if you want to change the title, okay, section name, so you go edit properties, you scroll down. Here you have title type, user defined title format. This title, right? I want to have it as benefit details. Just put it as benefit details. Okay, this is benefit details. And if you want this to be in bold or something like that, or no, text is to be updated, you can go to title style, then add it here. Body text, body link, how do you want to show that? Okay, font type, I want to show it in bold. Okay, and this one, I want to show it in the theme based, like how this header is showing up. I want similar header here also. Okay, you go to edit properties, style, you make it theme based. Is theme based. And if you want to have border for it, you can have border. Collapsible, yes or no? Just collapsible, yes. Okay, now you see, you have collapsible, yes or no. This can be collapsed. So this is designing UI. You can also have business rules here. Now, I want to have one field value, one additional field to show up, or one field to be hidden if no. Returnable, if I say returnable, yes. By default, it is no. If returnable is yes, I don't want balance to show up. Okay. So you can go onto the left-hand side, go to manage UI rules. Okay. There is no rule yet. I'll create a rule. Okay. If returnable value is equal to yes, then set balance visibility to be no. Okay. This is a rule. Where do you want to have this? As soon as we change the returnable, right? So go to this field, add the rule here, returnable. Okay. So when you select, go select yes, it will change. Okay. Save this object. Now this object is to be added to, the screen is to be added to our object. Configure object definition. Object definition, RAL benefits, make correction. So you go the default screen, you add it here, RAL benefits. Okay, save. And the fourth step is assign UI to object. And we did it in configure object definition. Okay. Now my object is ready. This object is to be added to people profile. And the people profile screens are designed in people profile configure people profile. Configure people profile. Okay. The next step is add the portlet to people profile. This is done in configure people profile. Next step. Now these are the portlets. These are all portlets. Now you can add it to the existing. Now there is an empty portlet here. You see there is an empty portlet. These are empty portlets. Either you can have one big portlet. This is big portlet. This is big portlet. Or you can have two small portlets in each subsection. Section, subsection, portlet. This section contains these subsections and these portlets. Each subsection contain either one big portlet or two small portlets. If I want to add my portlet to existing blocks here, we can do that. Or you can also create your subsection here, add new section. When you add new section, it shows up here. Let's say I want to have it as RIL section. Okay. RIL subsection. You also have it. This one is RIL section. RIL section and RIL subsection. So you can move this section anywhere that you want to have. Let's say I want to have it here. You can move. Okay. Now I want to add the portlet to the subsection, to the block here. So on the right hand side, you see these are all the portlets, talent related portlets, employment information related portlets, personal information related portlets, comp information related portlets, and custom blocks. The one what we have created is called live profile MDF object. This is live profile MDF object. You just go and drag and drop it. When you drag and drop, it asks you what is the section that you want, what is the portlet that you want to add, RL benefits. Save. Now we'll add it in portlet also. I will add it in one of the existing portlets here also. This is done. So here also I'll go and add live profile ID information. I'll just add it. What is that? RL benefits. Save. Now, when you add, now I have added in two places, but usually it is only in one place, either on the existing portlets or you can create your own section and add it. When you add a new section, you need to do one additional step. Grant permissions to section. And this is done in manage permission rules. If it is a new section, we need to grant permissions. Otherwise, no permissions are needed. Now, if I go to any employee, RL, I don't see the section because I have not granted permissions. But I'll see the portlet because portlet doesn't need any additional permissions. ID information you see here, RL benefits. But I don't see here that portlet. If you want to add portlet permission, then you go to manage permission roles. Not comfortable with the new one. Just go to old. Section permissions are granted in employee views. Permission, employee views, RL section, this permission. Okay, done. Save changes. Okay, it might take some time to show up here. That's fine. We'll go and add benefits. Go to benefits. You see, when should these changes affect? You have a date. So let's say starting from 1, this is a date field. External name field we have not used, so let it be. Benefits type is a pick list, and we have added the help text here. You go click on the help text, it says choose the value from drop down. This is the help text, and this is a mandatory field. And this is a pick list. So it shows up the pick list value. Amount 50,000. Description, I'll say Lenovo desktop with mouse and keyboard. Okay. So because this is a translatable field, it allows you to update the text in multiple languages. Okay. Is it returnable? You see here balance field returnable. Yes. The balance won't show up. Why? Because we have hidden that field based on the value. Okay. Validity. This is end date. It shows up both date and time. Okay. So I have to hand over this by 31st July 12 a.m. Okay, end date. Benefit details, we have a separate section here. Okay, this is collapsible. You can upload any documents, receipts that you have. Issued departments, which department issued this? Can go select all the departments. If we have, let's say finance department has issued. Issued date, this is just a date field, July 1st. Issued by, this is a user field. I can go and search for all the users. Can search for users. Comment is a text box where you can add the comments. Now this is my benefits. Added to one employee. Have added benefits to one employee. Now you see RL section also got added. As of now refreshed. RL section, RL subsection and RL benefits is a new section which is added. Now once you maintain the data, if you go to manage data, search here your object, you'll find one record here. This is for Kiran. It shows up the details. Who has updated? When was this updated? You can also create your benefits for whom you want to add. External code is a user field. We need to choose for whom. Now here, if you are adding the details at the user level, it doesn't show the external code. Now if I want to add it for Mona Lisa, I go here, it doesn't show the external code for whom you are adding. But if you are maintaining the data in the manage data, you need to give for whom do you want to add this. This is a user. This is a user field. And rest of the fields can be added here. Okay, clear? In custom object. Now here, for Kiran, it was showing okay. It is showing computer and brackets, it is showing up code. And if you don't want to show up this code, you can go to configure object definition. Okay. So there is some text which needs to be added there. I'll just go and this one, display pick list without external code. Okay. Object definition. RIL benefits. Take action, make correction for this pick list item. If I go and maintain UI field render as display pick list without external code. This is the text what you have to maintain. Okay, and save it. Now you go refresh. It is not showing that text. It is not showing that ID. It is only showing the name of the or value of that benefit. Pick list ID is not displayed here. Clear? What did we do? What all steps did we follow? This is optional. This is optional. First, we have created the object using configure object definition, or first we create pick list. First, create pick list. This we have added in pick list center. Okay, and then created object, use this pick list here in configure object definition using various fields. Next is to grant permission. If it is secured, yes, then you go and grant permissions. Now here under manage permission rules, because the category was selected as miscellaneous permission, so you go and add that here. Then once your object permissions are granted, go to design UI, design the UI. How do you want to display the fields? Assign the UI to the object, add the portlet to the people profile, configure people profile, and grant permissions to the section 2 view. If I have to upload data into this portlet, you need to do it through import and export data. This doesn't show up in import employee data. Though it is for employee data, it won't show up in import employee data. It shows up in import and export data, because this is an object which we have created in configure object definition. All the objects that we create in configure object definition, or which are coming from configure object definition, shows up in import and export data. Okay. Clear? Now, I'll remove this section. You want to see the workflow for this object? Same thing. Just remove this section. I'll have that portlet here. Go here, take action, make correction, workflow routing, choose some workflow, save. And search for user, Mona Lisa. Okay, I'll put some comments. Safe. Now what does it say? Submitting benefit request for Mona Lisa. And what is the workflow? RL workflow 4. Where is it going? It is going to director and Patreon. So submit. Now this is submitted. The request is submitted. Now once it is approved, it gets updated. Okay. Clear?
Venu, in the secure object, if we select as a no, so in manage permission role, are we able to grant the permission or
No, not
uh,
required. It won't show up.
for backend also they are not able to access, correct? For that,
No, we can
any?
access this object without permissions.
But how?
What do you mean by how?
I mean, without permission, how we can access that? I mean, user, if
No, you don't need permissions to view that object. By default, it shows up for all the users because we are not restricting that to permissions.
okay.
There are many objects which doesn't require permissions. By default, they show up for all users.
Mhm.
Only if you want permissions to control it, who should see, who should edit, can go and grant and change the secure to yes. By default, it is secure to yes, but if you don't want, you can set it to no. That this extra step you don't have to do.
Okay. So I think this will be done some integration team, that correct? The object creating object.
No, object creation is not done by integration department. Integration, we only do that.
Okay.
Custom objects are created by EC consultants, not by integrations. Integrations, they only transfer the data from one SuccessFactors to the other applications. So whether you want to move this data to other applications, that we can decide while creating whether to show or not. Okay. So we'll stop it here today and we'll connect back tomorrow with a different topic.
Venu, do we have anything that integration within the modules and data posting to other modules and getting set up in other modules that we are getting it into our module? Is there any scenario like that?
Within SuccessFactors, if you have if you are using other modules, like if you want some data to flow to other modules like performance management or any other module, so you should have these fields, okay, available in that module. Okay, so system always picks the data from basic import file or the UDF file. So the first file what we have uploaded while importing the employee data is basic import, right? That file contains all of those fields, first name, last name, some from personal information, some from job information, some from comp information, some from biographical information. So each portlet we have some fields in that template. So whatever field values we have in that template, system picks the data and sends it to the other modules. Like if performance management want to use some information, okay, so that field should be available in the basic import. Only those fields which are available in the basic import file will be sent to the other modules.
So that I mean, those fields that are available, that should be in XML, or like we can create it like this and export it and then.
Again, same thing, manage business configuration. You decide whether the field to show up or not. Manage business configuration.
Okay.
All the user fields what we have here, employee profile, user info fields, whatever fields that we see here, all of these fields are available here. Standard and user info fields. If some field is to be added, Now all of these fields are available in the portlet. Now it's a custom field. I want to use one of the custom field here. These are the fields of your basic user info, basic input. Okay.
Oh.
Now I want to use this field and map it to one of my existing field of job information. So let's say I want one field of job information to show up in basic input. So first go and map that field to, let's say we have track ID. This I want to show in basic input. So you go map it to standard field, custom field, what we have there.
Okay.
This starts showing up in basic import. Now basic import gets, the data gets synced to basic import. Now if I download the basic import can be downloaded using employee export. Employee export. If you go to employee export, this will download the user file. This is our user file. This contains all the employees, but if I want to see only my employees, let's say Harel. Okay, see this. These are all our employees. Okay. So Smikey we have added, president we have added. Smikey we didn't add department, job code, division, location, time zone, these details while importing basic input, but system has added all of these fields. Okay. Title we have not added, but system has added this field. So system syncs the data from these portlets, job information, or this address information, personal information, from all of these fields, it will update. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
For external, then it's the same thing, you know. For
Yes, external, then we need to have the integration. Through
Oh, okay.
integration, we can move the data. Like what interface you are using, like no, it can be a Delboomi or it can be any other application, CPI,
Okay.
HCA, HANA Cloud Integration. So depends on the type of interface that we use, integration tool that we use.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.